All right, so I think we are live. Shout out. Welcome everyone to our food review, our Evanston food review. Also, just an opportunity to talk a little bit about Evanston, which, if you don't know, is where Northwestern University is located. So, something good to start off with. But yeah, we'll be answering all of your questions today about Evanston, what it's like to live here, what it's like to eat here, especially. And yeah, so I'll go ahead and get our introduction started. So my name is Emily Coffey. I'm a fourth year student from Orange County, California. I study social policy in the School of Education and Social Policy with a second major in religious studies. I have a minor in classical Greek. I'm one of the tour guides here. I'm a tour guide coordinator, and I'm currently residing in my Evanston off-campus home with my dog Casey. Chris, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself as well?
Yes. So, hi everyone. My name is Chris. I am also a fourth year student studying social policy in the School of Education and Social Policy. I am from Houston, Texas, but I've also lived in St. Louis, Missouri. And I am also currently residing in my off campus Evanston apartment. So I guess to get us started, I can tell you what I'm eating today on this live stream. So first, I'll call it my appetizer. Um, I have a hot dog, not Chicago style. Actually, in Houston, we put ketchup on our hot dogs. So my hot dog does have ketchup on it. And it's from a place called Mustard's Last Stand, which is located on Central Street, which is a little north of campus. It's actually located right next to our football stadium. So it's a great place for people to go to before, during, and after football, basketball games. And they have really great food like hot dogs, burgers, and fries. And then for my main meal, very different from hot dogs, I have poke from my personal favorite poke place, Pono Ono, which is located in downtown Evanston, which is the main shopping food area of Evanston. And it's very close. It's about a 5-minute walk from the southernmost part of campus, 15 to 20-minute walk from the northernmost part of campus. And I love Pono Ono personally because you get so much food for the price. And also, the avocado does not cost extra, which is a huge point.
That is huge.
Yes. And then lastly, my dessert and my drink is bubble tea from Kung Fu Tea, which is one of the two bubble tea specific places in Evanston. You can also get bubble tea at other places that have more food options. But the reason why I love Kung Fu Tea, I was actually introduced to it my first day on campus during move-in day, where my residential college, Chapin, actually took all of us to Kung Fu Tea at the end of the day. And that was my first experience there. And I loved it so much. And I've gone at least once a week since then. And it's a great place to catch up with friends. They also have lactose free milk, which for all of my lactose intolerant friends, it's huge. So, yeah, that's what I'm eating today. Emily, what about you?
Yeah, so I chose two Evanston staples, just like Chris did, for my meals. I think mine are kind of like both entrees, I guess. So my first meal is from a place called Bat 17. Bat 17 is the place that I always recommend to people on my tours if they're looking for a place to eat dinner or lunch or anything like that. It just feels like a very quintessential Evanston spot. It's also really cool. They have a lot of like really fresh options, and they always like boast about that. Up in their restaurant, they have a bunch of signs that say like Daily Northwestern's best hamburger of 2013 through 2019. So like it's very connected to Northwestern, which I think is really fun. And again, just really good food. They got burgers and everything like that. I went for a pastrami sandwich today. As you can see, it's quite, I already took a bite of it. It is quite stacked, which is kind of nice. That's how a lot of their sandwiches are. Just something to note if you're like looking for something that's easy to eat. Bat 17 is maybe not that, but it's like really worth it, I would say. So Bat 17 is definitely one of my favorite places to eat. And then another spot I have is another quintessential Evanston spot. I got some chicken pad see from a place called Cozy Noodles and Rice. Cozy is like it's a Thai place, but I would just I don't know. There's something about Cozy that everyone loves. You'll probably go there about like 20 times in your first quarter at Northwestern. It's a little bit unclear. I mean, not unclear why, and that it's like a bad spot, but it's just like everyone can get behind going to Cozy. I've celebrated probably 20 birthdays at Cozy. It's just a place everyone's going to all the time. So it's a really good option. And also, like, I really love their chicken pad see ew. It's really, really good stuff. So yeah, those are the two options I have. I don't have my dessert at this present moment because he also took a little bit longer than expected. But it's coming soon. I got some insomnia cookies coming my way. I know that's not an Evanston specific place. You have insomnia in a lot of different places. But actually, I had never had it until I came to Evanston. They like put it into the downtown Evanston area my sophomore year, Chris, junior year, sophomore year, and it like very quickly became an essential part of Evanston culture. I've had insomnia cookies delivered to Northwestern University Library a few times. It's called insomnia, if it wasn't clear, because they stay open quite late. So it's a really good option for some late night food. And yeah, it's just a really good place, and their cookies are pretty bomb. And I'm a cookie guy, so yeah. So I got my sandwich here from Bad 17, and then I got my chicken pad see ew. Do you like to show off your food again, Chris? Just like a nice little.
Oh, of course. So I've actually taken a few bites from my hot dog.
Good.
If you were wondering, it's really hard to eat a hot dog live because they're just really difficult to make sure nothing falls out. So this is my hot dog with ketchup because I'm not from here. This is my poke, which I will get to after I eat my hot dog. They don't really go well together, but that's okay because I can wash it down with my Oreo milk tea if I so please. Gonna get a lot of taste tonight. But yes, that's what I'm eating today. So let's see.
Cool. Yeah, we got some questions coming in. Do you have a favorite brunch place? Can I start? I'm very passionate about a breakfast place here in Northwestern suburbs. It's actually not right in Evanston, but it's very important to me. This place called Walker Brothers Pancake House. It's like a little bit of a drive, unfortunately, but let me tell you, it's freaking worth the Uber. I have gone to Walker Brothers so many times throughout my Northwestern career. Like it's just like an essential place for me. I wouldn't necessarily call it brunch. It's definitely more like breakfast food, but it's some of my favorite breakfast food. And I'm not always a breakfast person, so it's a very big deal for me to say this is one of my favorite spots. So that's my personal favorite. Chris, do you have a favorite brunch place?
Honestly, my favorite is also Walker Brothers. They have the best pancakes, but also I am a huge fan of bacon. I love making bacon. I love eating bacon. I love talking about bacon, and their bacon is really good. But there's also another place that actually just opened in downtown Evanston this year called Frida's. And the reason I love Frida's is because they have their menu for everything all day. So I went there as part of a team dinner for one of the club sports I participate in, triathlon team. And we had just done a race, and half the team ordered breakfast food, and the other half, which I was a part of, ordered the biggest burgers ever. And it was just so good. We asked the server what's the best selling burger at the place, and everyone ordered it. And it was absolutely delicious. So definitely a top one. It's going to go very far in Evanston. I'm already predicting it. But there are so many other breakfast places, brunch places around that focus on different foods. So there's a place for everyone. Let's see. We have another question. Oh,
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and bump Frida's because that is a good news spot. And I'm a big Mexican food breakfast person. I'm from Southern California, so I like really love chilaquiles. Those are my favorite breakfast in the world. And Frida's does it pretty well. So really good spots in Evanston. Also, I will go ahead and display. I got my insomnia cookies. The smallest you can get is a 6-pack. So I had to get it. So these are some beautiful insomnia cookies right here. Very cool. Late night snacks for studying. Chris, you got a late night spot?
Oh, I think insomnia is honestly one of the best late night snacks. Depending on how late you're studying, I would just like to throw Kung Fu Tea in there again. I'll probably mention it a lot tonight, but they are open until 11 p.m. And it's a great place to go. They don't just have bubble tea. I should mention that they have really good popcorn chicken, as well as crepes, which those are newer. They used to have rolled ice cream. I'm starting to think they switch out the desserts every once in a while to keep things fresh. Um, and I haven't actually had a crepe because that's a lot of dairy for me, but my roommates have had it and absolutely love it. So that's a great place. If you're wanting more savory, I have to throw in Burger King.
You gotta throw in Burger King. You gotta
gotta
throw in Burger King.
Burger King is an Evanston staple. It's a Northwestern staple, particularly we call it BK Lounge, because it's just, I don't know, everyone loves it. You don't go there for great food, you go there for a good time. Um, it's really great. They used to be open 24 hours. I'm not sure if they're open 24 hours. Do you know, Emily?
They close I actually am a Burger King expert, I would like to say. They do close the kitchen from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. now. So it's just something important to know. You're trying to make that 4:30 stop at Burger King, it probably won't be open, which is unfortunate. It was a loss for the community. But it's good to note that it is open literally all other times of the day. And don't worry, they have a big sign out front right now that says they're still open for takeout, carry out, delivery, all of your needs still being satisfied by our Evanston Burger King. We got a question in here about vegan and vegetarian places to eat. I am personally not a vegan or vegetarian, as evidenced by the food that I chose today. But we have some really good spots. I think a favorite is Blind Faith Cafe. I don't know if you've ever been there, Chris. I have a lot of friends that really like that. I have a friend who is probably like the pickiest eater. Well, picky not necessarily by choice, but she's like vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, pretty much mostly eats blueberries, I think. But she loves Blind Faith Cafe. So that's a really good plug. If you're a vegan or vegetarian, that's a really, really good option. Chris, do you have
Yes.
any other spots?
Along with Blind Faith, there are a lot of restaurants that offer a lot of vegan and vegetarian foods. Pono Ono, for example, has really great grilled tofu that you can add and make your own sort of poke bowl from that. As well as there are some new restaurants, one in particular called 10Q Chicken, which I was actually talking about with one of my vegetarian friends yesterday, because while the name is 10Q Chicken, they make a lot of their things vegetarian as well. Specifically, they have like the best rice and tofu bowls. It's the great thing about 10Q Chicken, it's actually like a modern take on Korean food, specifically Korean chicken. So that's definitely a great option. There are so many more options. Most places, if not all in Evanston, if they're offering food with meat in it, they're also going to be offering food with tofu and other vegetarian protein sources. So yes, let's see.
I'll also plug our farmers market, which has some really good options for people. This specifically, I don't actually know what her name is of her company, but we call her the Tofu Lady. She's big popular among people who enjoy tofu. So Evanston Farmers Market is also a good option. Okay, Chris, I think we got to get down to it. Like pizza place. What's your pizza place?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So it's our honestly most asked food question in the admissions office.
For sure.
No one agrees. Like we don't have one specific answer for what's the best pizza place. It's just hard. Lou's, Giordano's. I personally think that they're both great for different things. I think you go to Giordano's for that traditional deep dish, which Lumanati's also has. I will say that. Giordano's is just my personal favorite. I will plug every time my mom comes, she always goes to Giordano's, which says something because
it does. It matters.
It's a family place. Lou's, on the other hand, also huge family place. They have great thin crust pizza.
They do have great thin crust
really
pizza.
Really great. Like every time pizza was brought in to my residential college my first year, they provided a lot of food for us. It was always from Lou's, and every time CESB, specifically the school that both Emily and I are in, do their pre-registration pizza party, it's always Lou's, never fails, always great. They have really good spaghetti too, for my dairy-free friends. Um, yes, but I will also give honorable mention to Gigio's, which if you are from New York and you love that very big triangular, kind of thin on the bottom, but still has a crust pizza, Gigio's is the place for you. The pizzas are huge, like huge.
No other way to describe it.
They're huge, but they are also really cheesy and really good. And I will let my stomach suffer for some Gigio's.
It's worth it.
So that's saying
yeah.
something.
As not a Chicago-born resident, I am actually not the biggest fan of deep dish, which I understand is a it's a controversial thing to say. My favorite pizza place, it's a little bit more on the expensive side, so honestly, I can't go there all that often. Which just something to note about all of these places. There's like a huge variety of like expensive versus not expensive. We have some places in Evanston that I love to refer to as like parents' weekend places, where like I'll only go there for one weekend. We have a lot of places like that, but there are also tons of stuff that's just like super accessible all the time. So it's really up to your preference. You can always find something you like. On the bougier end of the pizza spectrum, Union Pizzeria is one of my favorite Evanston restaurants of all time. They have an amazing prosciutto arugula pizza. It's thin crust, and it's just like I can't describe it that does it justice. It's just so good. They also have a takeout place called Union Square that does Detroit style pizza, which is it's cut into fours and squares instead of like the New York style. I don't know if you're like a pizza critic, like you can come at me in the comments about how I'm explaining that wrong, but that's another really good option. Chris,
I will say, what we did not bring up was Blaze, which
true, that is true. We didn't bring it up.
Definitely did not realize Blaze was a chain when I got here because I had never seen it before. But it's like, I don't even know how to describe it. You can do so many things with Blaze, and it's not just pizza. They've expanded what they have now. But for now, I'm just going to focus on the pizza that they have. You can build your own. They have vegan cheese, which is key, and they will even switch your gloves or switch their gloves when making it if you are vegan and not like me and lactose intolerant. And they have a lot of different crust options. So they added their gluten-free crust. I think they have a cauliflower or something crust, which I didn't know was a thing, but it is healthier. And then they also have thick crust, not deep dish crust, but thick crust. And you get like, they're personal pizzas, but they're kind of large. And if you're really hungry, you can eat them in one sitting, which I normally do. But if you're trying to make it last two meals, definitely split it in half. It's really great. You can also like top your pizza with different sauces, and their pesto topper, delicious. Their barbecue
I prefer the balsamic glaze. Gotta throw that.
Yes, the balsamic glaze is good. They get you though. It's really sweet. It's not as like tangy sour as balsamic, but really good. Especially, I like to do pizza with no red sauce, and it's really great. So yes, Blaze.
Love that. There's a question about how long it takes to get into Evanston and access these places. So Chris mentioned this a little bit before, but I'll just reiterate it. Downtown Evanston depends on where you are on campus of how long it'll take to get there. If you're at the visitor center, which is where we both work, it is on the southern end of campus. It takes like about 5 minutes to get into Evanston, into downtown Evanston, that area. But Evanston is also like quite large. So Union Pizzeria, that spot I just mentioned, is actually like a little bit farther south, within walking distance of South Campus, but it's a little bit farther. It'd be like a bit of a walk, but definitely, able to access that. You can also take the train to get closer to it if you want to. And then Mustard's Last Stand, which is one of those options that Chris is eating, is closer to the northern side of campus. So it's right on Central Street, which is just north of campus. So that like from campus, that'd probably be anywhere from like a 15 to like 30-minute walk. So it's like pretty spread out, but the good news is there's like always options. I will say my North Campus friends, if you are living on North Campus, number one spot to go to is Tomate. And Chris and I will agree on that. We can't, it's one of the best spots on campus. I won't go too much into it because I know we have other questions, but I just needed to get that out there. Okay, Chris, favorite.
It's the most ordered from place in Sequel Visitor Center, which is
that
our
is a true fact.
Visitor Center.
Yeah, we order more from there than literally anywhere else.
Yes, biggest customers.
Okay, Chris, do you have a favorite dessert or ice cream place on campus?
Oh,
in Evanston?
There are so many ice cream places. They really fit. Ice cream is hard. So we recently lost one of our favorites, Andy's.
Gone, really but not forgotten. Yeah.
Yes. Andy's is frozen custard, which, contrary to what I realized when I first came here, frozen custard is very different from ice cream. Something about eggs, I think. Maybe it's like little whipped. I don't really know. I'm not going to go into that. That's not the purpose of this. But Andy's gone. Really sad. But we did just get a Kilwins, which is, I want to say, a Michigan or
Michigan spot. Michigan spot.
It's a Michigan spot.
I'm pretty sure I don't want anyone to.
Yeah. that's neither of our specialty right there. But they have not just ice cream, which they make themselves. They also have fudge, like really good fudge, and they let you sample it. And personally, I never really buy it, but anytime there's a free sample, I'll grab it. During the winter, they have really good hot chocolate as well. Also, always sample it. I don't actually buy that either, but I will buy the ice cream. And they are one of the many places that offer a wild card discount, which basically wherever you go, if you see this little, it's like a purple sign or sticker in a window that says wild card advantage, they tend to give you like 10 to 15% off your order just for showing your wild card. So I do love that about Kilwins. I'd say definitely my favorite dessert place outside. I mean, I would Venison's as well if you're looking for more baked treats and things, but definitely a really good place. Emily, what about you?
My favorite dessert place, which I will tie into our next question, which is, do you have a favorite coffee shop? Great spot all around. Who's Your Mama? It is a pie place, but it's also mixed with, I don't know the full name, something dollop something coffee shop. So they have really good lattes. They have a honey cinnamon latte that's just beautiful. And they also have really incredible pie, which I was not necessarily a pie person when I first came to Northwestern, but Who's Your Mama is a really good spot. I always get the chocolate chess pie there. They have a bunch of different specials. And again, it's like a coffee shop. So back in the days when we got to like sit in coffee shops and hang out and do work and stuff, I would really often go to Who's Your Mama and to hang out there. It's a little bit farther from campus. Like it's past Union Pizzeria. So it's like even farther south, kind of right on the edge almost of where Chicago is, but still definitely accessible. It's pretty close to the South L stop. So, you can get there pretty quickly. And it's a really, really good option where you're like going to find Northwestern people, but it also feels like a nice little separate spot off campus, which I kind of enjoy. My second favorite coffee shop is Backlot Coffee, which is really close to Mustard's Last Stand. It's also on Central Street on the northern side of campus. But if you want like a classic go-to coffee shop, I gotta give Sherbucks a shout out. That is the Starbucks that exists on Sherman Avenue, which is pretty much like the main street that goes right through downtown Evanston. It's like the closest campus. So Sherbucks is a really good option. It's just like your classic Starbucks. That in comparison to Norbucks, which is the Starbucks that we have in Norris, which is right on campus. So those are two like old faithful options. Moving
I have to give a quick plug.
Okay, a quick plug.
So I am very passionate about coffee. I am always drinking coffee. I also am very lucky I'm a barista, so I'm always making coffee. And I have to give a shout out to where I work because honestly, a very memorable part of my Northwestern experience. It's a place called Brew Bike, which is actually a student-run coffee shop. on campus, which we are now online because we are no longer physically on campus.
I
But
just
it's a
ordered a
great
bunch of
place.
brewbag actually, so.
Oh, thank you. I won't tell you all to order, but Brewbike is great. Um, and yes, it's like a normal coffee shop. Make the same drinks. Not really a Starbucks. I will say we don't have as many of the like fancy flavors and sort of things, but it's all students making coffee and serving coffee to more students. So it's a great place. I'll also echo Backlot because they opened another location in South, like in the southern part of Evanston. Um, so it's even closer depending on where you live. Um, and yes, great place, local. They have just great coffee.
And good to note that the spot on campus, Norbucks also, but the spot in the library of Brewbike, they take dining dollars, so you can use your meal plan on it, which is also really big. That's right, right? Okay, yeah. Which is also really, really awesome if you're on the dining plan. Okay, moving along. Mediterranean food. Chris, any thoughts?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I also have thoughts about Mediterranean food. You have your classic chains that I guess aren't too classic because I haven't heard of them. I'm thinking
I
they're
hadn't either,
pretty
yeah.
Midwestern. But there's a place called Naf Naf, which is a chain, and then Olive Mediterranean Grill, OMG, as they call it, not to be confused with Olive Mountain Grill, which
Right.
same initials, both Mediterranean places, but Olive Mountain, I think I'm getting this correctly. I mix them up all the time, but Olive Mountain, if I remember correctly, is like a family-owned Mediterranean place. I've
It's like
eaten
sit
at,
down. Yeah.
yes, and I've eaten at all three places that I've mentioned, and I have to say, um, you get the most food for your dollar, and also it just feels very homey in Olive Mountain. Or yes,
Yes. I think,
the
yeah.
yes, yes. I that's a really hard one to remember, but
Yeah.
yes, there are great Mediterranean places in Evanston. And depending on what type of food you want, we also a lot of things get catered into like campus events, and Knock Knock and Olive Mediterranean are two very commonly catered places for Northwestern. So if you are like me and haven't really tried Mediterranean food before going to college, that's also a great way to try it out.
Yeah.
And that's
I
where I
gotta say,
realized.
yeah, I have a soft spot in my heart for all of Mediterranean Grill, because yes, OMG, because on the very first game day that we were here, me and two friends from my peer advisor group, who I currently live with, so PA groups forever. We all went to OMG to get a nice little lunch before we went to the tailgate. It was like my first time going to a downtown Evanston restaurant without my parents. And honestly, like I love OMG. It's a really good option. Um, Indian food spots. I actually have only been to an Indian food spot once in my time in Evanston, which is very sad, but it was Mount Everest. Yes, I really
Yes,
enjoyed it.
there.
I think there's a little bit of a debate here, is there not?
Well, so it depends. There are two Indian food restaurants in the immediate like downtown Evanston area. There's Olive, or no, Mount Everest. Wow,
Mount Everest. There's a lot of
um,
mountains going on here. It's just confusing.
yes, Mount Everest and Mumbai Indian Grill are two Indian food restaurants that are both very good and serve similar things. Um, if you're looking for takeout, I would say Mumbai Indian Grill. But if you're looking for more of a sit down restaurant, Mount Everest. I have to plug the city of Chicago in this question though, because there's an area on, I want to say it's Devon Street, which you can access through public transportation. It's relatively close to campus. Um, and they have a lot of different restaurants there that are all family owned, and they're absolutely delicious. And um, a friend who's also a coworker in the admissions office, um, we just ordered a lot of food from there and sat around my dining room table and just like tried everything. And it was absolutely great. So definitely options. For Indian food, I see a question here about Caribbean food. Yes, there specifically is a really great Jamaican food restaurant on, I think it's Emerson Street, which I realize if you do not know the area, that does not make sense, but
yeah, we're just like throwing out a bunch of streets that don't matter to people. Maybe pull up a map. I don't know.
Yes, but this restaurant it's like the southern border of campus pretty much is Emerson Street. There's like one street south of that, but so it's like kind of south, and then the actual restaurant is west. So if you walk, that's like 20-30 minutes, but they have really great Jamaican food. Definitely a good option.
Another question in here about ramen. In Evanston, there might be more, but the one ramen place that I used to go to like all the time freshman year, it's called Table to Sticks. It's solid ramen. It's really good. They also have an appetizer that's like these like grilled Brussels sprouts. It's really good. I'm like big into Brussels sprouts, so. Where was I? Oh, just talking about ramen, I guess. But that's a little bit on the more southern end of campus. It's actually right across the street from Cozy. So, if you want your Thai food and your ramen, you can go both places at once. So that's a really good option down there.
There's also Furious Spoon. I'll mention it.
I forgot about Furious Spoon. Yeah, I knew there was another one. I was like, where's that? Yeah.
Furious Spoon is newer in Evanston. It's a chain. People have their opinions on Table to Sticks and Furious Spoon. I don't know. I can't really weigh in. I honestly have not had either, even though I love ramen. But yes, that's on ramen. Looks like we have another question here about African food. There is not an African food restaurant within the immediate campus area, the immediate downtown Evanston Central Street area, but in Rogers Park, which is the neighborhood that is right south of Evanston, which you can get to by taking the L or the elevated train that you can pick up really close to campus, or by taking one of the buses that we actually are able to take for free with a wild card, the CTA 201 bus into Rogers Park. And that is where you're actually going to find a huge selection. There's going to be African food. There's going to be Latinx food. There's going to be a fair selection of, I have to mention, fried chicken restaurants. I know a lot about those.
You have to mention.
Yes, I have to mention that too. So yes, not in Evanston, specifically, but really close. Yes. Let's see. Oh, food update.
Food updates. I've been like pretty bad at eating my food that I have, but just as an update, actually, I guess I ate a lot of this. I got my cozy noodles and rice, chicken pad see-ew. It's just a classic, really good chicken pad see-ew. And then I've only taken a few bites out of my Bat 17 pastrami sandwich, partially because, anything goes together well, I guess, but they're not like, I don't know, the best combination. So I'm planning to eat the sandwich mostly after this, probably. And then I still have not taken a bite of my insomnia cookies because they just look so nice. But I will definitely be digging into these soon.
So. Wait, can you tell us which cookies you have from Insomnia?
Oh, yeah, that's a really good question. So my favorite cookies from Insomnia are these two right up here. These are the Snickerdoodle cookies. Yeah, thank you, Chris. I love a Snickerdoodle, and they do it really well. We also got two classic chocolate chip, just because you got to. And then we got two fun ones down here. Their M&M cookies are really good. Would suggest. And then they have like a peanut butter chip cookie that's also really good. So went with some classics and then some like fun little options. So that's me.
So my food update. I fully ate the hot dog, and I would just like to say I'm gonna brag a little bit. I ate it without spilling anything, and I took a risk wearing a white shirt to this live stream because white can show everything. And there was a lot of relish and ketchup on that hot dog. But I did it. I was successful. It was really good. Haven't had a hot dog in a while, to be quite honest. I usually don't eat them after football season is over, but it was delicious. I have not made much of a dent in my bubble tea, but I very much like to go slow and steady with the bubble tea. Actually, I should stop calling it bubble tea because this one in particular has no tea in it. It's just Oreo and honey and tapioca balls and lactose-free milk. So it's definitely more of a dessert than a tea. Kung Fu tea does have actual like milk tea though. But yes, and I haven't
really good almond tea.
Yes. Also, there I could go into every really great thing. Honestly, you can't go wrong with anything at Kung Fu tea. They have something for everyone. They have fruit punches. Not like Kool-Aid fruit punches, but like, fresh fruit punches.
What other kind of fruit punches?
I don't know. But they also have like the slushies, like fruit slushies. Also don't have any tea in them. But then you have your classic, like green teas, black teas, oolong tea, which, just a fun fact, oolong tea is fermented green tea. Has less caffeine than black tea, but more caffeine than green tea.
I did not know that.
Just for those of you.
Chris coming in with some good facts. So we did get a question about dining hall food because we are really just talking about all of our favorite places to take out, which at this point, I'm actually not on the dining plan anymore. Chris, I assume you're also not on the dining plan anymore. So when we take out, it's mostly probably because we're being a little lazy about whether we want to cook or not. But when you're in your first 2 years at Northwestern, when you're living on campus, you usually get takeout just for like a little change in pace or something fun. But the dining hall food is actually pretty good. I find that you'll usually find like your dining halls that like are your go-tos. I lived in Bob McCulloch my freshman year, which is really close to Sargent Dining Hall. So I went there all the time. Really love Sargent. It's close. Some good memories there. I also really love Allison Dining Hall. It actually just got renovated, so that's really fun. But you'll find that the dining halls have really good options kind of for everyone. They have like their staples that they'll have like a weekly, like Allison Dining Hall, for example. I think it used to be weekly on Thursdays. They had like their fried chicken lunch.
Yes.
It used to be in Foster Walker Dining Hall. They had pasta Tuesdays, and let me tell you, even
they
after
still do.
I was, they do. Okay, but it's not on Tuesdays. Yes. Oh, they do still on Tuesdays.
It's Wednesday, stir fry Wednesday. That has more than just stir fry. They also have like a pesto sauce, Alfredo sauce.
Right.
Tuesday is Plexican, which is their take on Mexican food. I say their take because it is not authentic, but still great.
But it's not trying to be authentic. You know what I mean? It's trying to be Plexican. Yeah, but literally after I was off the dining meal plan, after I like had moved off campus and stuff, I would still, my friend was a residential assistant in RA, so I would use her guest swipes to have pasta Tuesdays because it's such good made to order pasta. And plus we were like really tight with Carlos, who used to make our pasta Tuesdays for us. Good guy. Yeah, but it's a really good options. They have like vegan options, vegetarian, kosher. They're like really good about labeling what's in everything so that you know what you're getting, and you can know if you can avoid something if you have an allergy or something like that.
I will say also, we did switch food service providers within the past. Was that our sophomore year? I think it was junior year. So it's been 2 years.
Yeah.
Yes. But this provider is actually really conscientious about different dietary restrictions. So Foster Walker Plex East, that dining hall area, is completely allergen free. So every food that they make in that dining hall, it's not going to have any of the common allergens in it. So it's a great place for people who are worried about food allergies to go and get food. And it's the mid-campus dining hall area, so it's going to be an equal walk from wherever you are. It's really great. And then Allison's kosher options, which it is the dining hall that has a full kosher station.
Yeah.
Hey, it looks like
cool.
we have one last question. We're running out of time. I know. I really like talking about food.
I'm shocked we talked for so long, honestly.
I know.
We love food.
This has been the highlight of my week. But it says, how do people get around Evanston? Should you get a bike? There are so many ways to get around Evanston. Everything, or most of the things, no, everything we talked about pretty much is within walking distance. It just takes a little while to walk. When it's colder out or when it's raining or when you just don't feel like walking, we also have our different campus shuttle options, which will get you closer to a lot of these places. Biking, I personally own a bike, and I think I think that's probably one of the best choices I could have made, because I can use it for exercise, but I can also use it if I want to go to the grocery store and pick up some things and don't want to carry it all back, or just getting to food places faster. There are a lot of bike racks outside different restaurants. So I think getting a bike isn't necessary, but it is helpful. And I would say wait until you get to campus to get one, if you are interested in getting one, because we have like a lot of like used sale options for bikes.
Sorry, my dog just got super pissed at someone. Okay, cool. So we'll go ahead and log off. Chris, do you want to start the goodbyes?
Yes. So this has been great. I hope you all have enjoyed watching us talk about the food we're eating. Actually watch us eat the food, which can be kind of awkward. At least for me, it's really hard, like I said, to eat that hot dog. And yes, hope you got some of your questions answered about just eating in Evanston, eating options on campus, and just general food options. So yeah, I think a document will be sent out with more answers to questions. But yeah, Emily?
Yeah, any other questions? Feel free to check out the rest of our like events for May on our website, and also subscribe to this YouTube channel. We have a ton of stuff going on here all the time. You know, like actual campus tours and stuff. Casey's trying to eat my food. And a bunch of different options for info sessions and things like that. So please make sure to subscribe, check out all of our events on our website. Thank you so much for watching us eat and talk about food today. And we hope you guys all have a really great rest of your nights. Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Bye. Goodbye.